Class is like this: class name, class name, call user. Class name, call user. Right inside the user class, call user. Class will have a function called about user, one function. Education of the user is another function. Correct. Experience of the user is another function. Right. So we got total 3 functions. One is called about, education, and then experience. Under the about, you do console.log, console.log about user. In education, you write console.log about education. Semicolon you can add here. Console.log about experience. Property, how many functions? 3 functions. Now this 3 function you can see it is inside a class. Inside a class. User is the class, inside there is a 3 function. Okay. So what will happen is you cannot call directly about education and experience. You must have to call by class name and then function name. Class name and then function name. So we have to go here and we have to create an object of the class that is called instance of the class. We can create an object of the class that is called a const user object. User object equal to new. User object equal to new, and then you can write there name of the class called user. Name of the class called user. User object. After that, name of the class called user. Okay, hope ready. Now come down below and via object you are going to call the function. User object dot user object dot about. User object dot about. User object dot education. User object dot dot experience. Save it. Run through the CMD. Node space. We have idea how to run. Node space. File name. Class1.js. Class1.js. Node space class1.js. Node space class1.js. Check once. Print off. Okay, hope ready. You are able to list the data. It says about user, about education, and about experience. So now see, what is the class? Right? You can see the class start here, class end here. Inside the class, we have written functions. Now let's add some more thing. Then we'll come and we'll write one small definition for a class based on what we are implementing, not based on internet definition, based on what we are implementing. Okay. Now write a create a constructor here. Constructor constructor. Okay. Under the constructor, under the constructor, under the constructor, we will use the this operator. We will make a note for this also. This is a operator. It's called as a object of current class. This is a object of current class. Okay. So inside the current class, you are creating a variable. So for that we follow from this. This dot name equal to, suppose keep a name called Ganesh. Next after that, come down, write this dot age equal to 30 years. Next after that, this dot education edu. चॉकलेट है क्या? अच्छा, इसके अंदर कुछ मीठा सामान तो नहीं है? मीठा तो दुश्मनी है लेकिन खाएंगे. This dot edu equal to MCA. Next after that, experience. This dot exp equal to 5 years. This dot exp equal to 5 years. Now you got three variable. You have a class. Class name is called user. Inside the user class, inside the user class, inside the user class, we got a constructor. Constructor is not made by us. It is the part of your JavaScript class. Constructor is a predefined function. It is called a lifecycle function. Constructor is a predefined function. It is called a lifecycle function. Using the constructor, using the constructor, using constructor, we create, using the constructor, we define the member variable and we assign a value for that. So member variable, what is that? We are going to make a note again, a small note for all. Now come now. About user, write console.log, console.log, full name, colon, this dot name, this dot name, console.log, age. This dot age. This dot age. So when you call the about function, what it will give you? About function will give you, about function will give you name of the user as well as age of the user. Name and age, two things will come about the user. In education, you can write this console.log this dot edu. In experience, you will write console.log this dot exp. So what we did, we created the variable one place under the constructor, and after that this variable we are able to access throughout the class everywhere. Okay, we created the constructor. Inside the constructor we created the variable, and those variable you are able to access throughout the class everywhere. Okay, that is called as a global variable. That is called a global variable. All the member variable, whichever the variable we define inside the constructor using this operator, whichever the variable we define under the constructor using this operator, that is called a member variable. And member variables are the global variable of the class. Inside the class as outside of the class, we can access anywhere. Okay. It is the member variable of the class that can be accessed inside also, and that can be accessed outside also. Okay. Save it now. Come to the CMD again. Check once. See, about user, full name Ganesh, age this one. About experience, about education, MCA, about experience, 5 years. So all data are coming from how many places? From three functions. We are fetching from three functions and displaying inside the page. While calling the function here, okay, everywhere what you can do, you can add here one comma and plus slash n two times. So two times line break will happen at last, so that content will not touch each other. From top to bottom, there will be sufficient space. Okay, hope ready. Check again. See, this is running here. About user, full name, about education, about experience. Correct? With the space is coming. Now, in case if you want to change the value of this name, change the value of age, education, and all possible. But before doing that changes, we are going to understand another thing that is called theory, few lines. What is the class as of now? You wrote a class, inside the class you got constructor. Under the constructor you created the variable, you store the values. and those variable you are using inside the class. Constructor is a predefined function of a class. It used to initialize the value of a variable. Okay. Under the constructor, what we are doing as of now, we are initializing the value to the constructor. Under the constructor, you can initialize the value. You can define a variable, define an array, everything, all definition, declaration, as well as assignment work we will do under the constructor. It executes first time. Whenever the page will load, constructor will execute first. Whenever the page will load, constructor will execute first. Okay, so come down. In the same file, if you want, you can write in the last constructor why we have used this operator, why we are using object, meaning is what. We'll get some small clear idea. So write a multi-line comment. Inside the multi-line comment, you write here. Inside the multi-line comment, you will write here, call a class. How can you write a small definition for that? So we can write here, class is collections of member variable and member functions. Class is a collections of member variable and member functions. Member variable and member functions. Then you will ask what is the member function, what is the member variable, correct? Let's go ahead. Now write here another one. Member variable, how can you define? Member RIA, PARIA, member variable. You can say inside a class within the constructor. Okay, or we can start from here. The variable defined inside a class within the constructor. The variable defined using this operator, the variable defined using this operator, inside a class within the constructor, within the constructor is called member variable. Okay. So in current file, inside the constructor, you have defined 2-3 variable. One variable is called name, age, experience, mobile. Those all are called what? Member variable. You can see here. We have written here under the constructor what? Name, age, edu, and then exp. All are called a member variable. Next, after that, we can write a member variable is global variable. A member variable is a global variable of a class. Global variable of a class. A member variable is global variable of a class. Right? Hope written. Now come down below. Write about the member function. What is the member function? So we can write here member function. What is the member function? The member, all the functions, all the functions written by all the user defined function. You can write all the defined user defined functions. All the user defined functions of a class is called member function. Member function. All the user defined function of a class is called member function. Okay, hope ready. So how many functions you have in the current class? In current class, how many functions we have? Three functions. About, education, experience. These three are the user defined functions. So this becomes as a member function. And what are the variables we have? Member variable. Name, age, education, edu, and then exp. This is called as a member variable. That is called as a member variable. Okay. Next, after that, Now right below constructor, what is the use of that? Constructor. Okay. So you saw here inside this current class, inside the current class, we wanted to use some variable. That variable we have defined under the constructor and initialize as well together. Okay. Same thing we are going to write here. Constructor is a life cycle function of JavaScript. Oops. Constructor constructor is life cycle function of JavaScript class. Constructor is a life cycle function of JavaScript class. Okay. What we can use of this? It is predefined function. Predefined function. It is predefined function. The function is not made by us. It is a predefined function. Now come after that, right here, it used to it used to it used to define, comma, assign values, default value, or maybe initial value, default values to a function or default value to a variable or array. Okay, it used to define, assign default value to variable or array. Next, after that, we have this operator. This. What is the meaning of this? Okay. Before that, we write object of the class. Object of class. What is that? You can say an object is instance of a class. An object is instance of a class. An object is instance of a class. Okay, instance what, how you can represent it? You can say the copy. You can say the copy. Okay. Like suppose instead of like calling directly the class, we are calling the class only via object. So that word you can call it the instance. Is a kind of a copy of the class. An object is an instance of a class. Normal standard definition from internet. If you want to break it little lower level, you can say it's a copy of a class. An object is an instance of a class. Now here only the word is going to come called this operator. What is the use of the this operator? It is called object of current class. Object of current class. It is called object of current class. It is called object of current class. Okay. What it do? It used to access member variable, member function. It is called object of current class. It is used to access member variable, member function, member variable and member function of member variable. It used to access the member variable and member function. Member variable and member function inside the class. Inside the class. What that word represent is that word represent here. It's on the top. It says like it is called object of current class. It used to access the member variable and member function inside the class. Member variable and member function inside the class. What is that? You can see here the this keyword. Using this keyword, you have created the name, age, edu, and experience. So name, age, edu, and experience become as a member variable of the class. Now, using this operator, we defined as well as using this operator only, we are calling here. Using this operator, we are calling in another function. Using this operator, we are calling under the another function. But our definition says that this operator, it used to access the member variable and member function inside the class, not out of the class. Look at here. If you want to access outside a member variable, member function of the class, what we call? We call as a object. But the same thing. Let me go here now. I am under the experience. Under the experience, I can call here this dot about. I can call here this dot about. This dot about. Okay. Okay. So what will happen here? Using these operators, you are calling a function. Here using this operator, you are calling a variable. Everywhere using this operator, you are calling a variable and function inside the class, not out of the class. The same thing is wrapped within a definition saying that it is called an object of the current class and it used to access the member variable, member function, where not out of the class, where inside the class. Right? We have one more word we can use here. Extends. 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 What is the use of the extends? The extends the extends keyword used to inherit. Inherit meaning is what? Bringing, okay, carrying, importing. Okay. Inherit meaning is to bring. So it says the extends keyword used to inherit the feature of one class to other class. Like suppose inside one class, some feature is already written. Again, instead of rewriting, we will not rewrite, we will call the existing feature from the other class. That is called what? Inheritance. Suppose a person has not money, he can take the 10 rupees from someone else. That's becoming what? Inheriting. Is taking from someone. Okay, so hopefully here we have written. Okay, so go ahead next. We can leave this file and we can create the next file. In this, we got some theoretical part. This is what is the class and some notes also you got here. Small definition, single line, according to the users, what we are using now inside the page. We can create the next file that is called class2.js. Create the next file, give the file name called class2.js. Okay, let's go ahead. Write a class. Give the class name called product. Class name called product. Now inside the product, we will create function and variable. Come down right here, a constant object1 equal to new product class. Now write here a constructor inside constructor. Write here this dot my product equal to as one array. We will add call apple, mango, banana, orange, grapes. Now come down below. Here you can do right click and you can select format. It will arrange everything properly. See space and all got apply. We can go here. We can write a function called get product. Console.log about product. Next, right here, this dot my product, my product dot map, name of the product, index of the product. Return, not return, console.log. Console.log, index, comma, name. Come down below, object one dot get product. Check it, it will give you list of product. I will commit 1 minute. Okay. So you are running the page. It's listed all the products. So class 2.js we can run. Class 2.js. It will give all the products. Okay. So this list happened based on class. Let's go ahead next then. Come to the same class, inside the same class, create one more array. This is one array. Okay, this is one array. We can create one more array, product, and then write here one more call, this dot price. This dot price equal to how many product you have, that many you need to add here as a price. Okay, how many product we have, that many we need to add here as a price. Okay, so for example, 200. We have total 245 product. We have 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. Okay. Now you can see one array is for the product and another array is for the price. Let me add one more called 900. 900. Now come inside the same for loop, inside the same get product only. Name is coming here. Keep comma, comma, and after that put double quote. Right there, price, price, colon, price, colon, this dot, price of index. Using one for loop, you are trying to access the data from two array. In one for loop, we are trying to access the data from two array. Okay. In one for loop, we are trying to access the data from two array. Okay, ready? Now let us check again. Is that list is coming with the price? Product and price, product and price. Okay. But limitation is here what? Since using one array, you are trying to print the value from both the places. Using one array, you are trying to print the value from both the array. So in that case, we have to remember the number of parameter, number of elements. The number of elements should be equal in both the array. The number of elements should be equal in both the array. The number of elements should be equal in both the array. Okay, so you can see in the first array how many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one is the 6. But loop is running for which array? For the first array, that is called product. So product loop will run from 2 5 times. So 5 time loop will run. What will happen? 5 element will read from the price array. Remaining it will get ignored. Okay, so because of that, you are able to see till 600 here in the browser. Here you can see till 600. Okay, till 600 you can see, till 600 you can see, right? After 600 we are not getting the remaining element, that is called 900. 900 is not coming. Why? Because loop is running till where? 1 to 5 only. It is not going till sixth number elements. Okay, save now. Now inside the same array we will create a multi-dimensional array. In the same we'll create a multi-dimensional array, and there we'll see how it is going to happen. So we will go here. Create one more array, that is called item. This dot item equal to, come inside this, right here, name of the product, apple, price of the product, 300. Next element, next element, transfer of, tell me sir. No, last 3 4 days I'm not able to add the new participant in the YouTube channel. Okay, because one day I added 30 people nearly at the same time. Maybe YouTube have something policy, it's got broken. So you have to wait for 4 5 days. Okay, till Saturday I cannot. I don't know whether I can add or not. So I'm waiting. Once the again account will be activated, I can add you. I'll let you know. Okay. So you have to wait for 3 4 days. Okay. Once it will get activated, even the people who are attending the classes, for them also I'm not able to add. So wait for few days, maybe 3 4 days, automatically again it will be active. I can add and I'll update you. Okay. Okay. So what you can do is you can remember me next exact 3 days. Okay. Give me 3 days time, because you do have some certain rule regulation. Okay. If we add, if we go over the rule, they will block for some days. Previous also last 15 20 days also they have blocked for 1 week completely. Again they will enable automatically. So wait for few days. Remember me within 3 days. You give time. Again after 3 days, let me know if it is active. I will add it. There is nothing to worry in that. It's available. Everything there only. Just I need to add. But since they are not allowing to add the new user. Okay. हाँ ठीक है. आप हमको 3 दिन में बता दो. आप एक बार 2 3 दिन में रिमाइंड करो आप एक बार. फिर मैं ट्राई करूंगा ऐड करने का. ऐड हो जाएगा तो नो प्रॉब्लम. आप एक्सेस कर सकते हैं सारे वीडियोस में. ठीक है. Okay. Let's go ahead. Next after that, come down. The next call name. Let's write the name call orange, orange, and keep the value of the added. Keep the call price. Save now. After that, After saving that, come down again, write another function, get item. Get item will have console.log, console.log item list. Now I will write here this dot item dot map. This dot item dot map. We can add here item info comma index. Item info comma index. Now go inside. Write inside console.log log item info dot name comma double quote again item info dot price and call the item info function object1 dot object1 dot get item object1 dot get item. Ready? Getting the list. Second function. Check now. She is printing. Item list is also printing. So you are able to read the data from single dimensional array. You are able to read the data from the multi-dimensional array. Right? Now the same data should come in the browser. What data is printing as of now? The same data should come in the browser. As of now, these data are printing under the where console, but only console will not help us. This data must come into the browser. So for that, our next class will be there where we can index comma item info. Check now. Hope is printing. Yes, printing both. First array also. First array as well as which one? Second array. Okay, so we can see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow we can write again books class and communicate with the HTML and send the output in the browser. We'll log in. Person login for Naveen. Send your email ID in my WhatsApp. I will try adding in the YouTube from other system.